chat for the LCK, obviously, to check on that one. So I'll try to get that information for you guys.
That would be a crazy stat to have. So I guess we'll see. Gonna get underway into draft, and we'll see how things shake up, because there's been a little divergence, I guess, from the big four being banned consistently. We've seen Rumble and Karma, Casey slipping through. The Rumble's gonna get banned this time. Jace getting banned first rotation is something that I feel like a lot of people don't really see the need with Jace struggling a bit, but I think Zeus is a player who has to be respected. Especially when he has counter pick in this situation. You know, he can pick this on 3, he can pick this on 5. Jace and Vayne taken away. Karma, the expected pick here, but they don't ban it, they ban Ezreal. So no Ezreal Karma, but KRX could take Karma or they could take Jarvan. I feel like those are the two big picks available. They will take the Jarvan. And now for Hanwha Life Esports.
You just gave them Bard as well.
Well, there's Bard.
There's Karma, but I don't know.
Ashe Seraphine. There's a lot of strong bot lane picks that we have to respect. My question is, what is Kumishi going to be able to play that can be safe against the potential Jarvan and the Bard? Because having someone with mobility would help out there. They are just going to take the Bard away themselves. So not going towards either the Karma or like the Ashe Seraphine themselves. And it looks like they're going to pair that up with the Xin Zhao. So seeing... I say that.
Must be Gangplank, obviously.
Gangplank with the new Death by a Touch is kind of crazy, but we won't see that yet. Xin Zhao coming through for Kanavi, and I expect the bot lane to be picked up here from KRX, but instead they just go and grab the Gnar. Karma not even getting a look in this situation. Full topside secured for KRX. Obviously, we've seen the Rise be a lot more higher prio since the patch came through. And now, Hanwha Life Esports can only respond to one of the solo laners, or they can just pick an AD carry in this situation and then respond to neither. And obviously, KRX can have to split the bans. They end up going for the Cassiopeia, not the Anivia, which I feel like has been the more common answer.
Yeah, Zeka said Cassiopeia like 5 or 6 times. So he was very clear in the fact that he wanted to play Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Might be a personal preference.
The Miasma, very strong into the Jarvan. And obviously, Cassiopeia pick that has syncs very well with the new Death by a Touch. Dot champions in general do great with it. Now, though, I feel like you can target. They go for the Yunara first, so Yunara Lulu taken away. Ashe Seraphine with Jarvan is extremely strong. But KRX not banning away top laners in this situation, instead going for AD carries. We know Zeus is a player who loves to play the top lane Twisted Fate. We know that's a matchup players will take into the Gnar. I feel like you might have to throw a ban towards that, or you'll end up facing it down.
Yeah, it's either that or you just accept the fact that Zeus is going to find something to punish you. They took away 2 of the bigger, more common answers in Jace and Vayne. So maybe you just ban Kate Jin and you say, well, Guma, you're going to have to dig deeper.
See, my problem with this is that they banned Yunara and they banned Karma, which, by all means, these are solid bans, but Ashe Seraphine's still available for KRX. The Kate Jin makes complete sense into Gumishi with the Bard pairing as well, but it means you haven't thrown any bans towards Zeus, and I'm a little bit nervous about what he might bring out. Honestly, it's the Gnar matchup. HLE could just pick for Zeus here and then save Guma's pick till last if they want to see the bot lane matchup. That being said, he could take something like, his MF's been really solid recently.
Tristana.
Going for the Tristana, though, wanting a pick that can get outside the Cataclysm, I think is the main thing. And we haven't really seen much Tristana at all.
That could be in the top lane as well.
A devious thought in me was like, it could. I didn't really want to say it, but it could.
Didn't we see that? Wasn't that Zeus? Someone did that. Or was that Road to EWC, maybe?
I don't fully remember.
Because I'm almost 100% sure we saw Tristana.
KRX don't go for the Ashe Seraphine in this situation. Instead, they go for the MF Nautilus, and it looks like I don't agree with the Sivir. I think if you want to send the Tristana top lane, that's cool, but Sivir into Jarvan MF feels really bad, so...
Yeah.
I think it's fine to flex it, the Tristana, but I think you should go in a different direction. They end up locking it in anyway. I think this is difficult for HLE, I think the top lane matchup and the mid lane matchup, solo lane matchups is obviously good, favorable. Tristana can jump on Gnar's head when he's a mini and just explode him. Cassiopeia into Rise, we've seen him many times before. I'm concerned about the bot lane matchup. You have Nautilus into Bard. We've seen how rotund his hitbox is. Even grabbing him over walls.
Yeah.
MF is going to have a lot of lane pressure. And then Jarvan into Sivir is a problem. You're going to be playing around that flash so heavily. It's going to be a high-pressure game for Gumayusi here. They do have a backup AD carry and a high TPS mid, but I still think KRX an easier comp to execute as long as their solo laners can survive. That is the big question.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I think, like you said, you know, if they go all in onto a Sivir and use a bunch of stuff, you know, she's going to have a spell shield for some of it, and then you have Cassio Tristana, so it's like, you know, is it really worth it to go all in onto a Sivir? Apparently, you know, my memory was not failing me. It was Hugh who did play it in the Road to EWC, the Tristana top versus Nongshim. And now we're going to see it here in the LCK. Definitely does look like a fun matchup into the Gnar, as it does look like we're ready to hop onto the Rift for game number 1. As we are getting into this one, the fan chants. I did not hear them, but it's okay. Oh. There we go. We got some fan chants of some type.
They do seem very loud. So yeah, it was she who played the Tristana top into Gnar specifically. We've been seeing a lot of AD carries top, generally, to punish.
Well, exhaust taken here by Zeus, and this is going to be quite annoying for Rich, who is basically almost dead.
Rich going the lethal tempo as well to try and battle auto for auto. We also have Andal with the Ignite. Thrown down, doesn't get the heal from Delight though, so big to hold on to that. We'll get the full value of the health from it.
We did have a binding kind of sail wide there.
But honestly, in terms of health, Lazy Fuel's already pretty chunked. HLE bot lane doing good, considering the threat that this MF Nautilus have.
Level 2 hit here by Zeus. And
Rich has already TP'd.
Yeah, I mean, Vayne is annoying, right? But Tristana can close the gap even quicker, especially from that bush. Rich has a ward there now, but, you know, he's not going to have it forever. The one thing about Tristana is if you do take the E, you can push into Gnar. So maybe Rich can find a way to farm a little bit. As for a moment there, it was level 1 versus level 3.
Yeah. There's missing a couple of CS there, but still just has so much pressure in this lane. I like how HLE are playing this out with Gumayusi positioned very aggressively, knowing that the Dredge line is not a threat to him on Sivir, and Delight kind of playing a little bit behind. But I think the Ignite being gone and the health bar balance right now in the bot lane really makes this unfavorable for KRX. An all-in might not go as they would hope. Might have to get a recall off here if they want to try and find another angle into the lane.
You see that Willer doesn't really have any pressure from bot, so he says, well, I'm just going to go up there. As Zeus was the last one to play this, and it was actually into Kane's TF. So pretty interesting. That did happen a couple of years ago when LCK Spring was still a thing.
That is also a matchup where you're going to try and jump on the enemy's... I mean, I feel like you just generally do that on Tristana. Jump on the enemy's head. But obviously, TF with the gold card kind of hold you at bay better than the Gnar can and is currently.
That's the hook, and we actually have Willer here, as that is just going to be the combo. Zeka felt safe with the Bard there, but now he is not very safe, and he is dead.
Yeah, great setup there from Andal, and I think just HLE overconfident. Zeka standing up, doesn't use a summoner to avoid the dredge slide, and as soon as it connects, the CC is going to get layered. You are going to go down. At least the wave is being held in a decent position.
LazyField actually held on to the double up until that shield was used, then used it afterwards. Nicely done. And, you know, that's the one thing that you can spell shield against an MF. Here comes Andil as the flash comes in. There's the lockdown, and even a flash burned by Guma, but a nice dive here from the side of Andil. It's going to pick up a kill.
Really unfortunate timing because Gumayushi, you can see his barriers available, came up about 2 seconds after he died, but it helped out a lot in that play. The burst damage from the Nautilus MF and the Ignite, Andil commits to play it and makes it work. Now we see that mid play where he got a successful gank off. They're pushing up aggressively, despite the fact they know this could happen. I think they just, as you said, felt confident because the light was there. And then here, barrier so close to being available. Spell shield down because of that earlier trade from LazyField, and they know that timing, and that's why Andil commits to flash there to make the play.
Yeah. Pretty insane. Very nice value here out of this Nautilus early on. You know, there was the rough trade at level 1. But after that, Andil's been everywhere. He's been mid. He went for a dive down bot when the light was still, you know, backing and kind of in the base. The light's still on the move here. Kanavi is going to find the Nautilus, but guess who's also here? It is Willer, who's just smiting the Krugs while this is all happening.
Yeah, hard for them to chase further. You can see Andil was kind of trying to bait, but I think they were wise to it. Now looking for an engage.
This time the hook is going to miss.
I didn't see, was Guma's spell shield on cooldown before that? Because if it wasn't, I feel like it was not the target you want to go for. Again, that rotund hitbox was right there.
Yeah.
From the Bard. But I guess Guma does have no flash, so maybe that was the thought process. Either way, you see HLE able to disengage from the play. Honestly, I will say, Rich isn't too bad, doing too bad. Considering how the lane started, I thought he was just never he was going to be in the hole. But he's like a bit behind in farm. He's only lost 1 plate so far. He hasn't died. I think you're doing about as good as you can hope to in this matchup.
Yeah.
That being said, the problem is, as the game goes on, if you end up leaving your tower isolated, it will just get melted in seconds. So
yeah.
Something to be aware of.
It's pretty fun to start getting these double AD carry comps once again with the increased prevalence of AD carries in the top lane. There's the spell shield gone, and Delight's not here again. Now there are 4 people in the bot lane, and Guma's alone. I mean, what do you do against this? He's just going to die. LazyField picks up the kill, and I really love this aggression out of KRX.
Yeah, great set plays. They burn the spell shield first. Andil ensures that cooldown is unavailable, and it makes the dive so easy to pull off. I'll be honest, with 4 members there, I'm not sure Delight really could have done anything to mitigate that. But I do feel like his timings have been a little bit off. Both of these dives, he's just been a bit late to the play on his reset. Not there in time to cover his AD carry. That being said, compared to the previous play, which was a 2-man dive, this 4-man dive, I feel like you would have just been there to supervise if you were here.
Yeah.
Or maybe to die as well. Solidarity.
Very true. Kanavi's level 6, so you know what that means. He's in the enemy jungle. But he is in a little bit of trouble. There's the Crescent card, and he's just going to take the magical journey to safety. Nicely set up there by Delight.
He did safely take it.
Yeah.
So able to disengage from the situation after trying to find an aggressive angle in there. I did feel like the game had been a little quiet for Kanavi so far. There's something going.
I mean, this is the trading pattern of Tristana. But Rich is fine. I mean, he's a little bit behind on CS.
I mean, Na has good base damages, especially if you're proccing the passive, and he has just stacked a lot of resistances between the Warden's Mail and the Doran's Helm. A good amount of armor to help cut down Zeus' damage.
Looks like our junglers want to go for this objective on the top side of the map. We did have the Drake taken by Willer about a couple of minutes ago. But everybody's kind of grouping up for this one. So no Crescent card right now, and Kanavi is going to have to flash away, showing a little bit of restraint, but that was a pretty obvious moment where you're not going to win that fight.
Yeah, have to respect. As soon as the CC layering starts to come through, it's going to be such a problem, so they back away. But also seen Rich move down, but now Rich has reset. Andal looks for Zeka, doesn't find it.
Yeah, Zeka's not doing a lot of damage right now. He just has kind of the Anivia build. And just trying to play for some grubs there. Going to get a couple and get away.
Able to disengage from the situation after picking them up. 1,200 gold, the lead for KRX. And Realm Warper Batacom available again. If I am a Sivir right now in this game, I think I'd be a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah.
See if they go for Gumishi again. That's just kind of been the focus. And Rich doing pretty good in these trades, all things considered.
Yeah.
There's the one who has to actually have to ult the Nara away. Like this matchup maybe not going as well as Zeus had hoped.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a free farm lane for Zeus. Like, he just plays Tristana, he's going to scale up, even if he doesn't have a huge amount of pressure into the Gnar. You just kind of sit there, harass him, and then farm, and don't miss any CS. Zeus is getting in there, or Zeka is getting in there. Zeus, the one who's playing Tristana.
I feel like it's, you know, both these mid laners are going death by touch, but Cassiopeia just gets so much more damage from it with the poisons.
Willer kind of checked that brush, but didn't quite get into the brush. I mean, there's just a control ward there. Was that Albert?
Perhaps.
Can it be Gilbert?
I feel like it's just going to get spotted out, though. Surely? Kanavi's walking back. Nope.
I mean, the thing is... Oh, you were talking about that one. I was talking about the one that Willer missed.
Oh. No, there's no way that one stays for that long. They check that brush all the time.
Well, he just kind of checked, so I'm wondering if, like...
No.
He went in there, he's like, okay, there's no control ward.
Andal is going to walk past it right now and clear it. It's going to happen in 3, 2... What? He walked past it.
You were saying? That's a lot of damage actually into Lazy Feel. And Gilbert's doing just fine in the brush, but I'm not sure about the HLE bottom lane here. They're just going to go on the hunt and clear the wave. And with Kanavi nearby, looks like they will show some restraint themselves.
This time Delight's there, has the Tempered Fate as well, and with all summoners available, just not the easiest dive to pull off. They didn't have Yukal there ready and available. Navi, though,
he's going to find some friends. And he doesn't have his flash, but he does have the Crescent Guard back. Delight's here, ready to save with, yeah, Kanavi's going in as the binding is going to miss, and Kanavi's getting low, and they're not even able to take out Andal. The flash on into Guma is not quite going to go all that well as Guma picks up the kill. And now Willer getting extremely low. That Cassiopeia getting so much value in this extended fight. TP from Rich into 2 people, and he might just die. He already flashed. He's not Mega Gnar. He just TPs and dies.
Absolute decimation there from HLE, able to clean up a bunch of kills. And KRX just didn't really feel like they had a clear structure. Gumayushi is going to have to flash away from the Rise. We'll respect Yukal's damage. But yeah, so they go for Kanavi here, but it kind of works beautifully for him because he Crescent Guards the Rise out of the Cataclysm, and then Yukal can't really get in to do damage. So even though the Tempered Fate comes in from Delight, I don't think it was actually that needed in that moment to save his jungler. Now, even though they take down Kanavi, there's still so much DPS coming out of HLE with Zeka and Gumishi just kind of free hitting, and then this TP, as you were talking about.
They're really trying to bully Kanavi a lot in this. But they don't know that he enjoys the pain of the fight. Or something
wants to tussle.
He's a warrior.
So Zeus is now 1,000 gold up in the matchup. So you're kind of talking about just needs to scale up. It feels like he's starting to scale up. We do have the...
It's Chemtech Soul again, Ox. I wasn't going to say anything, but like this is the 3rd time in a row. What happened? What was it, 2 days ago? What was that about?
It's just one of those periods.
Yeah.
One of those days.
Chemtech Soul too powerful.
Yeah.
More than Ox, I guess. Okay, they're going to catch Andal here. And he doesn't have his flash, so I think eventually, yeah, just goes past the tower. And Andal's not very long for this world as, ooh, a nice little locket there at the end. Does mean that Kanavi picks up the kill.
Okay, so Andal taken down. The Tempered Fate catches him out. Like, doesn't get the timing right on the stun, but will be able to dispatch the enemy support. Both of the mid laners going for the Greaves. Now, these ones aren't gluten-free. We've established that the mid lane ones have gluten added.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful of those. But gonna get that. Because they give the Omnivamp, they also give extra damage above half HP and more healing and shielding below half HP. 15%. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking when Yukal gets Actualizer and he pops that, if he's under half HP and the Seraph Shield activates, that would be crazy.
He is going to be surviving. He is a survivor.
Yeah.
But he was an Actualizer? No.
And especially if you add in the healing and shield power from a Chemtech, couple of Chemtech dragons.
Yeah.
Maybe having Chemtech Souls not so bad.
Yeah. Feels like you're purposely not doing your job.
Me?
To let this happen.
No.
By the way, both Gilbert and Albert are dead. Both those wards did eventually go down.
Yeah. I think they're just in a too well-traveled area.
Yeah.
Or areas. I feel like you have to get like a little bit sneaky. Path less traveled. Yukal will... Oh!
The circle denies the circle, and some other circles come down, and they circle Yukal's name on the list.
Yukal was like, I have to leave the circle, and he did. Unfortunately, he also needed to be in the circle.
Yeah.
It did kind of look a bit like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
And there was that little sweet spot he could have maybe gone to, but he will go down. Good pick there from HLE. Now, KRX just moved straight for the Herald. There is TP on Zeka, and they're moving in to respond to this.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go for the rotund hitbox of the Bard, and Delight just kind of dies. But that's a lot of damage into a Bard, as now Kanavi gets right in their face. Tons of damage out from the bullet time, but not onto Kanavi, who is still alive. Double kill here for Zeka. And meanwhile, a solo from Zeus on the left side, who is looking for more. The Meganar comes in for the push away for Rich right into the team, as Rich eventually will go down. Yukal is full health and full mana, as he will eventually take this one down. Triple kill for Yukal.
And a fight that looked like it was starting to go really in HLE's favor gets turned around by Yukal, TPing in, cleaning up multiple members. So this is the play where, unfortunately, he didn't find the exact spot to be in. I had to walk around the Tempered Fate, was just outside. Unfortunate for Yukal here. But it then ends up being him TPing in to make the hero play. The fight starts off with Bard getting bounced around and dying. And then Kanavi goes for the super aggressive play with a flash in to ult to knock members back. A lot of damage from Lazy Fuel before he gets stunned by the Cassiopeia. But they can't really chase further onto Yukal here. And he's very healthy, very tanky. He has a tower behind him. He's just pumping damage out throughout this fight. So this is now a very fed rise with a triple kill coming in. Coaching staff obviously overjoyed with the situation.
He's gonna get away. Not sure how that started up. Yukal, he is ready to go. So we're 8 seconds away from the ult from the Tristana, and already a lot of damage. And here comes Willer, right after he gets the Rift Heralds.
Wow.
Picks up the kill.
Just that easy to find Tristana. Isolating the side lane, picks it up. Herald gonna come down. Yukal's going to be he's already so fed. He's going to be crazy fed after this. He also has, as we said before, the glutinous Greaves.
Yes.
So we'll have a lot of stacks on those already. Is going towards Rocket Belt there instead of the Actualizer.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Not an actual riser.
Yeah. Now Zek in a little bit of trouble, but he does have the Petrifying Gaze, is going to find one, and now the bullet time angle is huge from Lazyfield. Tons of damage on a 3, going to take down those 3 and immediately just go for the Dragon. Big fight here for KRX.
Huge team fight. KRX just not missing a beat when it comes to target selection moving forward. HLE feeling a little bit lost in comparison and not really able to make headway. So we'll see initially that play on the top side. Yukal just runs up on Zeus. Zeus gets rooted here. Tries to get away with a jump, but just gets annihilated by Willer. And in this play, Andal gets some initial CC onto Knavi to start the fight, but then they just turn straight onto Zeka. Zeka gets chunked out, and despite being able to ult the Rise, gets deleted. The MF ult from a crazy angle, kind of in the backline of HLE, but exactly where LazyField needed to be. And then Gumishi has to flash out, and that Sivir with no flash is such a vulnerable target for the Jarvan.
And that's pretty interesting. We saw a lot of Rise Realm Warp value into Diablo on Nomshin. That was, I guess, yesterday against Bro. And just essentially flanking them. And it was really cool to see UCal essentially say, no, Zeka, you can't run to the bot lane. I'm just going to put my Realm Warp here. And now you're kind of up against a wall and a Nautilus. And this Nautilus has been getting so much value. Just the engaged potential and the threat, especially now that HLE are behind. And down 3 Drakes as well.
I also think like the composition of KRX feels more structured, right? You have the typical front line, you have the backline carries. Feels easier to play in that regard. Just like a standard sort of teamfight composition you would see. Whereas for HLE, yes, they have a lot of threats, but also a lot of moving pieces, and the only real solid front line is Knavi during his Crescent Guard. Outside of that, everyone's quite fragile.
Yeah, and we've seen Xin Zhao's in that kind of position not really excel. UCal going to pick up a full turret in the top lane. And the funny thing is that he's not even the biggest gold lead because Zeka picked up 4 kills in this game already. Biggest gold lead is in 80 carry currently. LazyField definitely enjoying himself so far. This is kind of an interesting position. I think if you... Oh, they're trying to get Ondale here. They had him on vision, and the two of them are just backing together. They wait for one of them to go away, and they pick up the free Nautilus.
Honestly, pretty heads-up play from HLE, and now... Oh.
Uh-oh. Gonna catch him. Tries to get it down, but the flash immediately from LazyField is great. And the bullet time! So much value. And they are going to push them away under the turret as HLE's aggression gets punished. And now Kuma out in no man's land. Willer with the flank. And you can see that Zeka trying to do some damage to UCal, who's going to come back into the fight. LazyField getting low. And then Tristana actually going man mode in the back line. And now UCal isolated. Zeka picks up 758 gold. And not a bad fight, I would say, here for the side of HLE, given how it started.
Yeah, I mean, it started in a pretty rough way, but they're able to turn it around. Zeka coming up huge there. I mean, honestly, it started pretty good for HLE, and then it went rough, and then it got good again, is the trajectory. They find Andal here, isolated on the recall. They then look for LazyField. This is the point where it starts to go bad. Because the flash is available, the light doesn't manage to catch him out. He's able to get this ult off. It's only a tick, actually, but he gets the damage down to kill Knavi. And then this follow-up play, this is when KRX go a bit too far. The threat of Zeka is a real relevant aspect. UCal Megacone's back in to try and 1v1 Zeka and just isn't able to do so.
Yeah.
The Cassiopeia shredding at that point. And in the end, both teams have 2 members left. Now, Rich looking for Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his jungler nearby, and they certainly wanted to go in on that, but I think because he had flash, they're going to hold back. But Rich even nearly able to proc into that Mega Gnar in the play. And this is very soon to the Chemtech Soul, actually, to the side of KRX. So they definitely want to set up a play and some vision here. There's a ward behind them, but Zeus is Tristana and doesn't have TP anyway.
Yeah, both mid laners super strong right now with their boots stacked up pretty high, given that there's been a lot of kills traded and 3 core items completed.
I think we're going to see an actualizer diff here.
May well.
Because UCal went for Rocket Belt. It's a good item. It's a great item. Lots of people are building it, but it's not actualizer, which just provides so much burst damage. And now looking for LazyField. Nice sidestep there to engage. They go on to Zeka. He's not able to play the game. Still alive, actually, for a while, but eventually does go down. And now the Gnar is huge as he gets in the back line. Guma is left alone. And the double kill goes to Lazyfield, making a triple. And Zeus is not able to help out in the play.
HLE try and throw out and engage, aren't able to connect onto the right targets, and then the counter from Kirum DRX is just massive. The bullet time connecting on a Zeka, chunking him out, and this is going to be soul for Kirum DRX. On top of a pretty big goal lead, we see the extra movement speed for the MF, helps Lazyfield dodge away. Andal with the ult flash, with a follow-up from Willa, with a bullet time on top of it. Zeka, who's the strongest member of HLE right now, just doesn't get to play the game. And then it's just easy cleanup from there. Gumayushi tries to take down Lazyfield, nearly does, but the healing from the Bloodthirster does save him.
Yeah, I feel like the most surprising thing for me was how quickly Kanavi died in that fight. Like, their front line just got melted. And you talked about it before, how this front line is like, well, if the Xin Zhao is Crescent Guard up, surely he can kind of stand there for a little bit, and then he dies. And even in that fight, he Crescent Guards and just kind of dies anyway. And again, the flanking Tristana wasn't very threatening. They kind of just ignored him, killed Zeka, and moved on. So Kium DRX powering up.
With his Kium DRX composition, you have so many engaged tools.
All right, going on in here. This engage not as clean for the side of Kium DRX. They're going to find Zeus, but it's only Rich getting in on that one as Kanavi taking so much damage as he goes into the MF in his Crescent Guard and just dies. Guma is Sivir into the J4 and just gets cataclysmed. And that's something we were very worried about. Kium DRX are pushing, and they have so much power at this point in time. Rich going to be pushed away. Can't get the kill on Zeus.
I mean, there's 4 dead. Zeus is low and has to reset. They definitely get the inhib. Will they try and push for more, though, is the question. Based on how Andal is tanking the wave, I think they're trying to go for the end.
It's not the fastest push, but I think with the death timers here, 10 seconds on Kanavi, and the light's going to come up, but you do see that Zeus is just pushed away. They're going to take down the 2 Nexus turrets and just go all in for this one. They get the kill on a Zeus. As Kanavi does come back, they're just trying to hit the Nexus, and they get it down. Kium DRX win game number 1 as Vietnam goes wild.
Showing up huge in this game 1. You can see the fans overjoyed. This was such an uphill battle to go up against the top team in the LCK, and yet they were decisive and played their team composition so well, leading the charge on a lot of these plays. To catch out when Zeka became a problem, they just targeted him down on that Cassiopeia. And I think, considering expectations for this series, this has already kind of exceeded them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about, a week of 2-0s. Might still happen, but it's going to take Kium DRX showing up again in game number 2. And, I mean, the way they played in that game number 1 was fantastic. They're not going to get Nautilus again. I think Onda looked fantastic on that pick, and it also felt like HLE were not respecting his ability to engage at many different points.
Yeah, we saw early on, Kium DRX able to get a bit of an advantage, but struggled at some points in the mid-game. Zeka really came online. But when it came to the team fighting proper, Kium DRX just looked polished with this composition, and HLE struggling to execute, struggling to keep the carries safe. Bard doesn't always have the most peel. You can tempt Fate to buy some time, but it's hard to provide as much peel compared to picks like a Lulu. And yeah, I think back to the drawing board for HLE.
Yeah, absolutely have a lot to go over from that game number 1, I would say. There were many different moments that they can go back and look at and try to fix up. The draft, I'm sure, for game number 2 should be a bit more standard, might help them out as well. And perhaps we see full power HLE in game number 2, but big shout out to Kium DRX, who have taken one solid step forward in this series to go up 1-0, as we are going to take a break and come back for game 2.
공점.
다들 공 있어? 10초.
그래.
스타 막아줄 수 있긴 해. 내가 해야 나.
해봐 그러면. 스타 잘 막아줘. 힘내
나
잡게.
공은 없다 근데.
어.
형 빠졌고.
끝내. 타워.
나이스. 나 가보자.
These obscure facts, and you know what? We do our best. We do our best.
How many of our viewers were born before the year 2000, I wonder?
Some of them. Is that a factually question? Do I have to
Yes.
answer the exact?
Please know
what
our
decimal
demographic.
point?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a struggle.
I'd
Okay.
say like 25%.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, 1999 counts, right? So that's not that old. It's what, 27 this year?
Let's stop talking about ages. Man. This is too real. It's too painful. We're going to start off the draft in a similar manner, except this time it is HLE who are first pick. Bans have gone somewhat similarly, but now they have this position where last time KRX banned Vayne here. Aurora ban comes through. So we have the Rumble open and available, which I assume KRX are going to ban. And then maybe we get the first pick. Annie has been pretty popular. That's what I'm feeling from the Aurora pick. But also, we used to see Aurora in Rumble. Yeah, they banned Yone, so not wanting to play against like Yone Rumble, thinking that would be really a big problem, especially as Zek is so proficient on the Yone. I assume it's just going to be the Rumble first pick.
Yeah. You're giving one of the best, if not the best, top laner currently in the LCK, Rumble, which is the most broken top laner. Now, we did see Doran perform really well on Yorick into the Rumble in our first series.
I just hope this is not the Ambessa response. We have seen that. It has not convinced me. It has not worked very well. And it got nerfed. So perhaps not. I feel like Rich could just pick a tank into it. I know we've seen some of the Rumbles
Or a Nib.
farm up, or a Nivea. You know, we've seen a Nivea into it. This is a triple flex. I mean, that we know of.
Yeah.
Jungle and Nivea?
No.
No.
I thought about it for a second. I'm like,
So,
nah.
Nivea coming out, based on the fact they picked that Rumble, I expect it to be leaning towards top lane, but we don't know for sure. Could just be mid. And then looking to pick up a bot lane for Lazy Fuel and Andal, but only able to get the Lucian now. Lucian Milio's been really the premier duo. So we'll see if they get their hands on that, or if HLE want to deny it and pair Milio up with something else.
Well, they're going to get Vi because Willard decided to not pick that in lieu of getting a very strong bottom lane. But, you know, we saw Siu struggle on the Rumble because he had to deal with the Yorick lane, but also because there was no setup for the Rumble. But if you're getting Vi, which is basically the best setup you can get, and Zeka's playing Ahri with the Vi.
Yeah, you could have gone Vi Ahri, Vi Annie. I think both of these would have worked really well. This Rumble Vi Ahri topside is like nightmare fuel for a short-range AD carry, say a Lucian. Not gonna have a fun time. And they go for the Annie pickup, which means it's not Anivia in the mid lane. Still could be top, still could be support. But the problem is, by going Annie and Anivia, I don't think Lucian and Anivia is a very convincing lane. And if I'm HLE, I just ban Milio and Nami, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. I feel like we've had a bit of a stumble here in this draft.
Yeah.
I think KRX have really put themselves in a rough spot. They're like, you know, game one was a bit too easy. Let's give ourselves a challenge by drafting this and giving Homolife Esports maybe, just maybe, the best 3 champions in terms of synergy you can get on the top side of the map.
Caitlyn Jin going to be the bans, taking away some of those longer ranged AD carries that we know Gumi Yushi is very proficient on. There's still picks like Yanara available, Corki options, even the Ashe, actually. Ashe Seraphine is...
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, oh, God.
Oh, KRX. That's not Nami.
Maybe the thought process is we can just kill Nami and get a free reset on the Ahri. Yeah. That could be the angle. I imagine if you want to see the enemy bot lane, you just pick a jungler here. Maybe keep the theory off the Nivea as a flex. We've seen Lee Sin and Annie be pretty strong. And honestly, Annie into Ahri feels like a good matchup. They're just going to slam Ashe Seraphine. Oh my... This composition.
I don't think we've seen a team this good, or any team, get a comp this good yet.
The thing is,
in the LCK.
I know Viari on the highest prio picks, but
It's
I just
the
think
synergy.
for how HLE like to play,
That too.
for how they like to play, the team fighting this composition has is a little bit absurd. They're just going to dive you. They're just going to explode you. So
Did you see Andil's face?
it's like, what can I play
Like,
here that won't
well,
get one shot?
yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's any options that are range champions. And I think if you go melee, you just get blasted out of lane, and the Lucian never really scales up. So there you go for the Lucian Nami. This is going to be a tough time in the bot lane. They have the Anivia top. Our suspicions were correct. So their solo lane matchups are better. But to me, this game is very much one where you need to snowball hard if you're KRX. Because I had some criticisms of HLE's draft in game one. Felt like they didn't really give themselves the tools. They have the whole toolbox in this game. And it is full to the brim with all sorts of spanners and other assorted such tools.
Screwdriver.
Screwdriver.
A hammer.
Yeah, useful. Tape measure.
What else? Yeah, tape measure's a good one.
Yeah. A bow and arrow for some reason, because they have Ashe.
Yeah.
Not sure why that'd be in a toolbox, but...
You never know when you have to, you know, put a rope attached to something on the ceiling that you can't really, you know... Or you have, like, a river through your house, so you kind of need to get a rope over it and, you know, use a bow and arrow for that.
Ah, yes! What a realistic scenario.
Obviously, yeah. I do that all the time.
Do you keep a bow and arrow in your toolbox?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't?
No, I haven't thought of this. I actually don't have a river through my house, so I don't
Oh, okay,
need.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Well, KMDRX say we're going to have a fun game, and maybe it goes to game 3. That's okay, because our fans will enjoy a third game. Let's jump onto the rim for game number 2. Oh, here we go.
Oh, they...
Oh, Andil. Make 2 flashes.
Okay, so... On the one hand, 2 flashes for 1 seems positive. And HLE's bot lane are going to be later lane. However, Andal went Q level 1. I'm going to be honest, Nami Bubble, I don't think feels like too much of a real ability in this lane matchup. Especially when you don't have the slows to set it up. Like, I don't think they should be getting hit by this. So I think they can just walk up and auto-attack Lazyfield Andal down.
But what if they do get hit by it?
Well,
Kuma's going to have to barrier.
It expires and they just auto-attack them down.
Yeah, Lazyfield also barriered. And we got heals traded. So yeah, not going to amount to too much. And it does look like both these bot lanes should hit level 2 as well. So not a huge deal.
So now Andal's gone E. No W available still.
Yeah.
It's obviously big in these early trades.
I mean, Lazyfield's just going forward, and Guma is taking a lot of damage, but so is Lazyfield. That's another bubble to come down, and guess who's here?
Oh,
It's Willer.
He's so
Level 3.
Dead. He's 100% dead.
He doesn't have flash. He's just dead, and even Delight as well. He gets hit by the
Oh,
Sonic
my Lord.
Wave. It's 2 kills as Willer will die to Seraphine. but still worth it for the side of Kyiv.
You know, when you have a bot lane that you have something like Ashe Seraphine, we have seen the greatest responses to it just be to gank it early.
Yeah.
Level 3 gank. Ashe Seraphine wants to push up, wants to trade aggressively, and especially with the Nami starting bubble, feels like prime opportunity to make something happen. Delight misses the root, which would have been a stun as well there. Bubble also connects from Andal, and then H are like, okay, let's fight fire with fire, let's step up, and then Willa slides in. 2 hits to kill Guma, lands a Sonic Wave before Delight flashes.
Yeah.
And then even though he goes down, could have flashed, by the way, to live, but saves it.
You said...
어.
Oh.
아, 괜찮아.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, he gives
But
the
he said
kill
nice.
over to Delight, but he saves his flash. Could have just flashed out of the tower range and guaranteed didn't take the hit. I'm not saying that that was necessarily the active decision where he said, oh, I will die here and save it. But
Yeah.
it does mean he still has that summoner available now. They are looking mid.
Yeah, Konami doesn't want to be outdone as the charm is going to land, and I think that's just it for Caldo. He lands the stun, and he's actually fine. Willer's right there after clearing the top side of his jungle. Flash on in, Ucal just dies. Not
Yeah.
sure why he was in range of the flash Q.
Yeah,
But he
little
was.
disrespectful, I think it's safe to say.
It's kind of like Zeka in game 1 where he's like, oh, it's okay, I have Bard here. Let me just walk up to the Nautilus.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's going to be the route to come down, but the bubble into Guma means that the trade is actually fine. Flash on in, and Lazy Field! Oh, he's
range.
not able to get it. So close. He does level off the wave, by the way. I think that barely keeps him alive. And guess who's coming? It is Willer. Oh, this is so close.
Yes, flash, but I don't think he can get. Oh, but Delight.
Delight's dead. I mean, there's no flash here for the Seraphine. It's just okay. He's able to kind of get into the wave, but the Q is still going to land, and Willer hops on over. Guma's like, oh, hello. Looking for the kill is Guma, and he will pick it up under the turret as the fans in Vietnam go wild.
A risky play from Guma to move back in when Willa has flash, but he had the barrier in pocket, and he's able to clean up the kill. So a good move to kind of mitigate some of the issues that have been occurring thanks to his earlier ganks. Andal's been super sharp on these bubbles. I feel like bubbles such an inconsistent ability, quite hard to hit in a lot of these lanes. And he's just been on point, and there Lazy feels so close to being in range.
And Guma didn't have the barrier at that moment.
Yeah, didn't have it then. Backs off. Willa goes, okay, we'll go for Delight instead. And then you have to retreat through the minions, and Guma walks up and he's like, yeah, I'm good. I have barrier as well. If Willa gets his Sonic Wave back, I think he can just kill him through barrier, but did not get the cooldown in time.
Guess who's bot again? It is Willer. The bubble is going to miss. And we also have Konami level 6 in the bottom lane, ready to go. Willer going to hop back, but there's the ult from the Vi. Delayed a little bit low. Guma trying to follow up here, and Lazyfield with that mobility is going to have enough to get away, but Ondale not in a great spot. He has his flash, but he just elects not to use it. Goes down, as this time Konami's there to protect the bot lane. Rich?
This is one of the things with spending so much time ganking, is obviously if you can set your lanes into a good position, that's great, but Kanavi has just been, I mean, he hasn't just been, but he's been farming up a storm.
Yeah, Rich is going to go egg here.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, he's okay. Do you see the crystalline overgrowth proc there? But yeah, Kanavi's been farming up a storm. He comes into that counter gank with level 6, and there's not a ton that trio from KRX can do up against the Vi. We'll see a replay off that here. So big things are that the bubble doesn't connect this time. Lighting Gumusi able to dodge away, and then when Willa goes in, Kanavi's immediately there to disrupt. Ults Lazyfield knocks Willa kind of into the alcove. The root from Delight doesn't connect, but the bubble once again misses, and Andal is the sacrifice. So much sustained damage and threat from this Ashe Seraphine that if you're not connecting your skill shots, if you're not bursting them down, they'll just run you down like that.
Yeah, I think there was a moment when Lazyfield dashed away that maybe Andil could have just, you know, followed him, and if they continued onto him, he could have just flashed away. But when he went back in to look for something, you know, extra damage or whatever it was, he got too close, and you get volleyed, and at that point, if you flash, you're not really gonna get away, and your team's not able to help you. So, unfortunate moment for Andil. You see Guma is ahead about 500 gold, the biggest lead here on the Rift at the moment. Definitely helps that he killed the Lee Sin.
So I said how both solo laners, I was a little concerned about the matchups for HLE. Obviously, we did see that gank on a Yukal, but Zeka's doing pretty well. But Zeus is ahead in this matchup in the top lane. So kind of doing crazy work on this Rumble into a ranged matchup where the Anivia kind of just controls a lot of the pace of the lane. Especially now level 6 has been achieved. But Zeus still having a lot of pressure. Like Rich just reset. Also something to note, no cleanse from KRX, bot lane.
I was just thinking the same thing, and it's a bit of an issue as now they are going to dash forward into that after the arrow does hit.
You can see the apprehension, concern there might be a Vi around, and there is.
There is a Vi. Good look for this on Andil, who's trying to get the angle for the flash. His flashes over to Lazyfield, and that's going to be the double encore. Catches Lazyfield, who gets caught in the crossfire. And that'll be the end of the bot lane, and now maybe even Willer. Oh, that charm was
a little short.
Very sad.
Yeah, but a great encore from Delight. Oh,
Rich does not have bubble. He is going to live, though.
I mean, egg.
Yes. He doesn't have his pally bubble. Divine intervention.
Right. Anyway.
Not sure what I was thinking.
So, Lazyfield gets a lot of damage down, but dashes forward, puts the burst in, but doesn't want to overcommit to the play with no cooldowns and expecting Kanavi to turn up. Kanavi is level 8, though, in this situation. Ults on Andil, who seems like an easy target. And then this ult from Delight, passing through Kanavi, and then onto the Nami, and then onto the Lucian, so it hits both targets. Just beautiful to set up those 2 kills. And I think the bot lane matchup is going to be in a rough spot now.
Yeah, it definitely is. Lazyfield does not feel it, though, as he hops forward. The heal goes back on Aguma, and all of a sudden, Andil's getting really low. Look at this TP coming in. This is actually Zeka flash on in from Delight. They don't have a wave at the moment. The culling does come out. Guma getting a bit low, but they just know there's an Ahri behind them and nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Zeka picks up the double.
Perfect setup for the TP from Zeka, just to slide in. They were low enough that he could just finish them off with his ult charges and his W. Didn't need to connect a charm to make that play work.
So this is like cool. Oh no.
You know, ice is weak to fire, so I'm not sure what's happening here, but it is working. And Zeus not going for the Deathfire Touch, going for Comet instead, which we haven't seen a lot more Deathfire Touch since the rune got introduced on Rumble. I guess maybe the long-range harpoons into the Comet could poke. So this, we obviously saw Guma get hit by a couple of bubbles earlier, but he's calibrated now. Sidesteps the tidal wave, sidesteps that bubble beautifully, and then they're forcing aggressively just to get the damage down because Zeka's coming in. Lazyfield tries to trade back with the ult, but Zeka just slides in, lands the outward part of the Orb of Deception, and that's basically the only skill shot he needed to clean up those kills. Great setup from the bot lane duo of HLE to allow their mid laner to get a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, it looks like Willer was spotted on that Tribrush ward. Kanavi also spotted as he walks into that ward.
If I'm killing DRX and I know Kanavi is there, I don't think I opt into this play. They have brought Yukal over, so an extra member. That could be the difference maker, but he is backing away. Lazyfield, I feel like, was just existing there in a very precarious position, which is within Q flash ult range of Kanavi is a precarious position, because you know he would.
Well, they're going to go for the fight now, as the tidal wave is there, but a lot of things go over that. Nice access to the backline, though, from Willer. Picks up the AD carry, but Lazyfield goes down, too, as the cake finally does come out, and the follow-up Sonic Wave does not connect.
So even though KRX are able to take out Gumayusi there, take out the Ashe, they still just lose the fight so heavily with both bot laners going down, Kanavi and Delight connecting onto those targets. And even though Yukal moved down, just wasn't there in time to follow up on the play. It's 10 kills to 4 now, a 3k gold lead. And it's a Hextech Soul. With HLE having 2 dragons.
Yeah.
Not what you'd like to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not only did Kiyoom give over this draft, but also the play has just been better from HLE, and you can see it here in this fight as well. Nami doesn't do very well into this.
Yeah. Gumi used to just get targeted and focused down, but it just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So cleanup comes through, and yeah, this draft is so strong when it comes to team fights, so straightforward for HLE. I don't think they strictly needed to have an early lead, but they do. And now looking for Rich.
Nice flash. It's going to get him to safety for now. I say that, and he doesn't look very safe. And now he's dead, so that's kind of the opposite of safe. Yeah,
Delight tanks up the tower for them to go aggressive again. We saw Kanavi punching through the turret to get the damage down. They are zoning Zeus down on the other side, but a Rumble we've seen many times before. Pretty decent at holding off. I mean, Anivia, she was even picked in lane swap meta specifically because she obviously has the egg, but it wasn't available there to help clear up the wave. Ashe arrow is coming. Misses Yukal.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Hits Zeus, but he didn't get stunned.
Hit the turret too.
Wow.
Yeah, the
interesting.
Turret was still firing.
Why did Gumayusi try to hit his top laner? What did he mean by this?
Yeah. Trying to send a message.
Yeah.
You just don't know exactly what the message is.
The message was strapped to the arrow and it said, hi.
Yeah, Yukal is dead.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have to use the Vi Flash, but I'm certain that they do not care about that. TP is coming out here from Zeus. He's like, goodbye.
Yep.
I don't care.
Full move in position to cover bot, but also just great read that they were collapsing in on him. Gets the TP up before anyone with CC is anywhere near him. And this game, you know what, Brent, I know you were so ready for it, because it'd be cool to have that, like, oh, it's been the first time since 2023. I don't think we're going to have our all 2-0 week.
Yeah, it's not happening. I mean, when we saw the draft, I think I kind of knew it from there. And, I mean, you talked about it, like, it's not like KRX can't win with this. It's just they put themselves in a really difficult spot.
They are in a bit of a hole.
Yeah.
I think if we talk about how they'd be able to get back in, I think they have a lot of ways to set up picks, right? They have, like, the Lucian burst, they have the Annie, CC, the Lee Sin. And you do have isolated targets. Well, not necessarily isolated, but targets who will die quickly if they are isolated, like the Ashe and the Seraphine. Vulnerable targets, I guess I should say. Gumayusi currently doesn't have Flash, doesn't have Cleanse, and there's no Mikhails from Delight. So if you land an Annie combo onto him, but the problem is it feels like Kanavi's just being...
Okay, they're just going to throw everything into the Nami. Nandi will flash away from all that after the fact.
Yeah.
Who've been taking a lot of damage. Those steps up to the Lucian, insane amounts from Lazy Feel. But I suppose it's calculated. He stays alive, in goes Kanavi.
Kanavi is 2 levels up on Willa, by the way. It feels like he's just playing bouncer right now. Anytime KRX tries to get aggressive, he's there, watching.
Uh-oh. Okay, that's a nice wall, actually. Zeus backs away in respect.
Yeah, Zeus is up like 30 CS.
Yeah, the Rumble was given over. First and foremost, I feel like that was the first part of the draft where it was like, okay, that's, you know, we saw a good answer for it in the first series. In fact, Nivea has not been a good answer for it.
Everyone on the top side of HLE is up about 30 CS, give or take a little bit. And then bot lane has a ton of kills. Both of them 3, 2, and 7. Well, Dragon up in 50 seconds. Do I think KRX are in a position where they can win a fight here? Probably not. Do I think they can afford to give over the Hextech Soul? Definitely not.
It's a nice stun on a Kanavi.
Yeah, we'll disrupt him, force him away. He's concerned someone else might be there and doesn't want to give over his pretty sizable bounty. Dragon up in 30. Mid lane tower being chunked out. I'm interested to see what KRX opt to do in this situation. Do they try and force the fight and deny Hextech's whole point? Or do they just say, guys, we're really weak and really behind, we need to scale up a bit more?
Going on in once again, Lazy Field, but everything in the kitchen sink gets thrown in his face, and Ondil is going to be the collateral damage. As guess who's back? It's Kanavi. He was right there for the play. Has Willer trying to get away, but he's not going to be able to. And that's a triple kill for Guma actually in the play.
Yeah, he's going to be so fed right now. He's already ahead, but going to be by a massive degree. Rich, you're going to become an omelet.
Yeah, no egg and no bubble either. So that's going to be the TP coming in. Kanavi is...
Oh my... Of course he does.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I think we can kill this guy. Let's just take the turret down, and Yukal doesn't even have Tibbers. He doesn't even have Tibbers! And
Yeah,
he's dead.
Well, I think when I said before the game is looking like we're going to a game 3, I think it was accurate. I think understated is what I would say now based on the game state. They dash in, you know, Lazyfield tries to go aggressive, but you have no way of breaking CC, and it's an Ashe Seraphine. Like, of course they're just going to press the buttons. And then the chase down starts to happen. Willer can't get away. Umiishi runs him down. It is a crazy goal lead now. Zayas sets up this play as well into Rich. Flashing is bringing him down. Oh, Willer is so close to death. Okay, I know Willer's about to level up, but currently it's level 13 Navi to level 10 Lee Sin.
Yeah, it's been rough for Willer. He had a great first gank.
Zayas is like, he's level 14 to level 12.
Yeah. I mean, HLE could just back away and take the Hextech Dragon if they wanted to. It looks like they kind of just want to push the wave instead.
Maybe the mindset is this game isn't lasting another 10 minutes.
Okay, we got a Lee Sin on the way, and Zayas is like, well, I'll just get the kill. That was 3 autos.
Wait, Willer, I don't think...
And Willer's going in. He thinks he can get this kill. I mean, with the kick coming through, the Sonic Wave is there.
Okay.
The Lee Sin and the 1v1 is good.
I was a little worried if he lost that fight.
Meanwhile, we do have some Annie stuff being thrown into a level 14 Vi with 2 items for treads. Yukal thankfully has Flash, and they're trying desperately to kill Kanavi, and they finally do! Lazyfield gonna get a nice shutdown here, but it looks like Guma's going to collect even more. 2 kills with that last auto onto Lazyfield.
Yeah, Kanavi goes super aggressive there, but sets up the kills for Gumiishi just to fire some arrows into them and clean them up. 8, 2, and 7 now on the Ashe. I think they just gave them a bit too many good picks. A lot too many good picks.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Zayas just melts Rich. You know, flying ice is only 2 times weak to fire.
Yeah.
But that's enough apparently. And then Willer just comes in and kicks him and follows up the Sonic Wave. Does a good job. Make sure he doesn't go down.
He's just taunting them. Like, that was so silly. But it works out.
You know, he had Flash here and he didn't use it. He just saved it. I guess he would have had to Flash at Tibbers, which would be extremely difficult. So, but you could tell he wanted to.
Yeah.
Flash in. And Gumiishi just able to clean up those kills. Okay, they are going to pick up the Dragon. It's closing in a 10k gold lead. Oh, they're killing Zayas again. That's the game plan.
I mean, there's 4 of them, so I think maybe this time they can. I'm still waiting for it. I'm really not sure. He's surviving for so long, and Willer ends up taking the kill.
That's the game plan. It's just kill Zayas because we're behind. We can't really win a 5v5. And you know what? He has the least hard CC side of HLE. I think KRX a little bit sick of getting, oh my, Lazyfield.
Yeah, the arrow's gonna come through. Bubble's there on a Kanavi, and it does not matter.
That was a very aggressive Hex Cage.
It's okay because he's Lucian, and Lucian can dash over the wall.
Yeah. You know who else can dash over a wall?
Wukong.
True. Wasn't the one I was thinking of, though.
Akali.
Also true, not the one I'm thinking of.
Oh. I really am not sure who you're thinking of. Zeka is Ari, so he's just going to run away. Willer is here, and they will respect, actually. He's getting pretty close to the Baron, trying to get in the flash, and he just gets termed and killed. Nice try from Willer, but at the end of the day, just a little bit too much to ask from him. The chase potential from this squad is big. You can see that KRX trying to funnel down into their own river. That's a nice wall, and it is actually going to help them get away from Zeus.
Yeah, you see Gumisi's moved onto the mid wave. He will push down this tower. KRX are actually trying to... You need to take a very safe route.
Go that way. A lot of damage here in a Kanavi. Not quite able to take him down just yet. Nice play from Rich there, but yeah, you don't have access to your mid lane up against HLE with Baron.
Yeah, Delight comes in to shield them to keep him healthy. Well, as healthy as he can be. Got to be a bit careful going in the base here because Anivia's wall currently covers the entire opening of the base. Like, don't get me wrong, HLE are incredibly strong, and it is very easy for them to win a fight and the game for this position, but that is the one place where I think KRX are at least playing to their strengths, is if they just throw the Anivia wall down, block off the entire base, and separate HLE. That being said, a lot of... So I asked you earlier about champions who could dash over wall. I was actually talking about Vi, but Ari also can.
You know, that makes sense.
So they can just kind of go one way or the other. Kanavi has a GA, which means he can play with even more reckless abandon.
Hide on bush.
Sometimes it does feel like he plays like he spawns in with it.
I mean, it's the fake out where Willard leaves, and then they're like, oh, Rich was here. Okay. That's the equalizer. As the extension does come through on Ondil, and he is not very long for this one. Majai's picked up by Zeka, by the way. Just going to get Mikhail, so now the follow-up just come through. As you're not getting away from this composition, triple kill goes the way of Guma. And the fans are going crazy for HLE.
It's a 14,000 gold lead. I think HLE were a little bit upset they lost game one. And our 2-0 streak this week will end. The final series going to go to 3 games. So much damage.
Yeah, 12 kills. And yeah, 16,000 gold lead. HLE look to push into the Nexus. Willer was just having a bit of fun here at the end. And they're certainly having fun with this one. Guma, no! He's going to go down right as the Nexus does as well. HLE super dominance game number 2. KRX certainly did give them a lot of good options, and HLE is a very strong team. I
think we came on a draft, and I think we definitely were favoring HLE quite a bit. And then everything played out in the early game, and I think it was pretty shut and dry. The fact that we saw them continue to just steamroll this game, clearly twisting the knife when it came to them having a strong composition. That suits them as well with how they've been playing recently. Just that ability to dive in, start fights at a whim. Kanavi played like a psychopath, as we kind of expect. And KRX, if they want to get a series win at their home ground, need to find a winning solution for this game 3.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those games where I think you can just go back and say, well, anyway, let's move on to game 3. So at least that's good for the side of KRX. They did beat HLE in game 1, so you know you can do it. It's kind of funny that he did only 8,000 damage in this game. I mean, he had a great game, had him a Giants with 12 stacks plus, but he just, you know, he's Ari. He goes in, he bursts down low health targets, and that's about it. So kind of funny damage graph, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. Very dominant win for HLE, and we will have our first game 3 of the week, and it's the last game possible for the week, as we just barely do not repeat what happened 3 years ago in summer of 2023. Summer Life Esports also go back to the drawing board and discuss what they're going to do for game number 3 in terms of the draft. As we are done here after game number 2, we'll see you after the break for game 3.
both teams had an edge. Like game 1, I was like, wow, KRX have a really big draft edge here. I'm surprised that this was able to happen. And then game 2, I'm like, okay, this makes game 1 look like minor in comparison. It was kind of a little bit insane. This time though, it will be KRX taking first pick, which HLE had last time. KRX did have that in game 1. They're going back to banning Jace and Vayne. And now there is still those 3 big power picks available that are often banned in Orianna, Karma, and Varus. So HLE can just ban all 3 of those if they want to. TF coming out as a ban, not wanting to deal with that, presumably in the top lane. And I guess HLE just ban Varus here.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think you ban Varus and you say, it's all right. We move on to the next phase. Don't leave Varus open like Rumble was left open.
Yeah, that would be a bold decision.
It shouldn't take a lot of...
That is not, notably, not Varus. Now, Varus' win rate hasn't been super hot, but that's mostly because he just hasn't really been played very much, if at all.
Yeah, he's 3-6. 3 wins, 6 losses.
But a pick that teams have definitely respected, and second most banned, only after Rumble. Now seeing Yunara come through. Yunara Lulu, I assume. Not the most fun lane into the Varus if it is going bot lane. Obviously, I think something that added to Varus' strength is the fact that you can play at top as well. And a lot of the range tops have been thinned out, although I'm sure Zeus can just whip something out on a dime and decide I'm playing this now. Whether it can match up to Varus is another question.
Yeah. I would assume the reason why this is left is because Rich, you know, he hasn't been the strongest laner we've ever seen.
Oh, they're going to go Nocturne. Oh, Nocturne Aurora. That's pretty good either way. Nocturne Aurora, really strong combo. A lot of threat already. You obviously have the Yunara and the protection for the Lulu, but this is a tough comp to play against as an AD carry, especially one who you know is going to get focused down. KRX have some good responses here. Now, what is going to get picked up? Pantheon. Obviously a pick that has that early pressure. Then going for the Jax. Okay. I mean, it's technically a flex. Presumably going to Zeus. And something that we often see into the range top laners can do quite well. So if it is the Varus top, has an answer there. No real guarantees, though.
You know who it's really good with? Lulu.
Yeah.
So Jax Lulu is potentially, depending on if Zeus just come down to some team fights, a bit of a combo we'll see. Caitlyn and Talia, actually, going to be banned. We've been seeing a little bit more Talia nowadays.
Yeah, there's still, like, the Akali available for Zeka. The Azir's going to get banned out here. I feel like Aurora is such a horrible champion to lane against. So much harass and poke. So it's like, what can Zeka take that's going to just be able to hold its own? And mitigate some of that early pressure.
Thinking about it, Guma has to type it in and select for the team. And right at the end of the timer, they go for Sylas.
I mean, there's some good ults to seal for Sylas in this one, but I think you're going to have a bit of a tough time in the laning phase. Obviously, a pick that Zek is a bit of a specialist on. So it makes sense in that regard. I actually find it crazy they didn't ban Nico, and I also find it crazy they didn't pick Nico. So I feel like Nico, Nocturne, Aurora would just be so hard to play.
Yeah.
They end up going for the Poppy instead. There's a lot of dashes, to be fair, on HLE, so Andal wanted to shut those down. And then they commit to Sante in the top lane. Not a ton of sustained damage on KRX. It's a lot of burst, a lot of ability to take out critical targets. I think the problem for me here is that if you focus all your efforts onto Gumyushi on the Yunara, even if you kill him, which isn't guaranteed, will you have gas in the tank to clean up this Jax Silas Pantheon triple bruiser frontline who are just going to charge you down? That's my major concern here. Is I feel like KRX haven't drafted the throughput you sometimes see. You know, when teams have like an Ari for resets or just like a sustained damage carry. I feel like they're kind of lacking in that regard. If they get ahead, it doesn't actually matter that much. If you get enough of a lead, these things don't really apply. It's like when, you know, you have full AD compositions, but they get really far ahead, so it just doesn't really apply.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the place they are with this. They have a lot of playmaking setup. If they get a lead, they can kind of just bowl through without worrying about that. But I think if the game is even or worse if they fall behind, I think they'll struggle to cut through some of these frontline picks. I do think they should have a lead if you look at the lane matchups. You know, Varus in the bot lane is a bit of a menace. In the mid lane, you have the Aurora into a melee champion. Top lane is just Cassante, so...
Yeah. I really like how, on the side of HLE, there doesn't feel like a really good target for Paranoia. I mean, Yunara, yes, but she has Lulu, so it's like... And Lulu herself, I think, you know, you just... Wild growth, and it's a fantastic answer, as long as you're not in no man's land, so... We'll see if they can use that to pilot a win in game number 3. Here we go. Game number 3. We actually had a HLE chance here in Lal Park, as there are a lot of their fans coming down for an HLE watch party.
Ooh. You call one Ignite as well? Okay, Zeka, good luck. This is going to be a tough lane.
And he's already taken some damage.
Starting early. You also see the cleanse coming out from Gumyushi, which I think makes sense into what you're playing into here. A lot of CC, a lot of setup in that regard, but does make those trades a little bit weaker. I mean, I think if it was a Varus Nico, I'd be really concerned about the 2v2. Poppy obviously has less threat unless you catch someone next to a wall. The trick is, don't stand next to a wall.
It's that easy. Just always position specifically for dealing with Poppy.
For the whole game.
Yeah, for the whole game, not a single mistake, and not considering any other factor. Well, they're going to hit level 2 here first. Not surprising. Our melee supports that aren't Nautilus generally do struggle, especially into lanes with Lulu or Bard.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Poppy. She just doesn't have the most lane threat in terms of finding all ins. Have to be a bit more creative, so we'll see if Handel's able to pull that off later. But for now, it's just soaking up experience.
Very curious about this lane because Rich really struggled last time, and that was with Anivia, where it felt like we should have seen at least a little bit more presence up there. And already Zeus is ahead and proxying the wave. Zeka goes in for a trade and immediately regrets it.
Oh, you gotta be so careful. I feel like Silas so often just, you get low HP, you heal off your lane opponent, you kind of play with fire a little bit in that regard. You can't afford to do that when they have Ignite.
You can see he's playing very respectfully, but he's going to have to back here on kind of an awkward wave.
I mean, that's the thing, he has TP advantage, so does have that going from at least. Meanwhile, Knavi's is clearing up through the jungle. Both of these junglers have those global ultimates, but I feel like the Nocturne gets a lot more of a spike from his, because he's just a lot weaker before that. Whereas I think Pantheon is strong pre-6, strong after 6. In terms of being able to impact lanes.
Yeah, he's just strong in more areas, potentially.
Yeah. Whereas I
he
think...
brings that strength around the map.
Yeah. Why are you saying it so weirdly?
Because, you know, it's true. You were talking about Nocturne, you know, the Paranoia, it's got that extra effect
yeah, but
of
why you,
darkness.
Why you whatever. You're saying it in a weird way.
What did Valdez mean by that?
What did you mean by that? That's what I'm really wondering.
We'll never know.
I'm the person who gets sussed, you know?
Yeah. I mean, for a
Crazy.
good reason.
Wow.
Ox sussed.
Maybe it's you for once.
I don't think so. I think I might be the least sussed person on this casting roster. What do you think? Thoughts, opinions?
I think it's Huni.
You know, I was actually going to try to argue for myself, but I can't because you're right.
Yeah.
There was actually a good answer, and it was Huni.
And not an evil answer.
Yeah.
Which would be to not answer.
It's
according to your logic.
That's very true. I'm glad you're on the same page with me.
Oh, the polymorph.
Yeah, at least feel. I mean, Andel's very tanky, so he's kind of using his health bar to try to set up pressure.
Yeah. Lazyfield getting polymorphed when he had his piercing arrow charged up. Very unfortunate. Made the trade a good amount weaker. Yukal yet to find an angle to use that Ignite. And this has been a pretty passive game so far. You know, we have Tier for Lazyfield, Pull for Gumushi. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Andel's going in. Guma in a bit of trouble. Nice polymorph once again.
Oh, will they go for it? No, they don't want to.
Why didn't he even like throw in a Q? You know? Maybe try to poke him down a little bit.
I think he's cautious about not knowing where Kanavi is. Kanavi potentially being 6.
Yeah.
They found Kanavi. He's level 5. He has no flash anymore.
What did Kanavi mean by that?
Well, I think he wanted to stun Yukao. That's the impression I got. That's what he was indicating with his gameplay.
Yeah.
And Willis just going to pick up Dragon in the meantime. He's still level 5, though. Kanavi's hit level 6. There's no way he just ults into the Dragon Pit.
I don't think they know 100%. I mean, yeah, he's just doing his Raptors.
Yeah, they don't have the vision. The setup's pretty good here from KRX. Early Dragon. And we're at nearly level 6. It's the point where we can really start to have an impact. Lazyfield actually down in farm in this matchup so far. Not really how you want a Varus lane to go. I know the Poppy obviously does shake that up a bit compared to if it was something like a Nico with a lot of lane presence. But yeah, going even on that pick, not ideal. It's also similar in mid lane. You know, Zek has kept even with Yukao despite playing into Ignite and just the repeated harass of an Aurora.
Yeah. We do have Delight trying to come in here and just attack Lazyfield a little bit. Trying to hit level 6 first, but they won't. It's actually going to be Lazyfield. It's level 6 here in just a moment. Could try to set something up, but the issue is Guma has Cleanse, and I mean, Delight is a Lulu, so if you try to set something up, you just kind of get polymorph. Rich is, he's doing okay. You know, he's getting pushed under turret very often here, but he's surviving. He's not falling too far behind.
Keeping it within arm's length. Oh, and looking. Keeps going for the dashes off the minion into the trade. Oh, no.
There's a Pantheon here, yeah. That's going to be some nice chains of corruption. You know, he landed it. It's not going to help Ondo at all, but it's going to be first blood over to Kanavi as Lazyfield steps up, saying, okay, I've got a Nocturne coming on up, but Wild Growth is still available, and that's a double kill for Kanavi as well. There's like, I definitely do damage. Please trust me, as now we have the Aurora coming down. They do take out Guma, and even a TP going to be committed to here by Ondil, with his unsealed Spellbook trying to get back into the fight, but eventually Zeka gets here, and that's a free kill for him. As yes, that is Poppy, and it looks like this fight should fizzle out.
Absolute chaos in the bot lane. You know, there were some moments where it felt like either team was getting...
Yeah, well, it's not over yet, I guess. Ondil does have to flash.
Yeah. I felt like there were moments throughout that passage of play where I felt like one side's got the advantage, then the other. Ends up being fairly even overall. Bit of an edge to HLE.
I think Zeus is mostly just interested in the plates.
Wants demolish.
Yeah,
No mana.
Rich just
on
have
Rich.
pressure.
If he had mana,
Yeah.
that was honestly a kill.
Well, calculated by Zeus.
Okay, so goes in to start the fight. We then get the Pantheon ult coming down to cover. And this does result in Poppy going down, but LazyField plays hyper aggressive with knowing that your mid lane is moving first. You have the Nocturne able to come down. What's really unfortunate is this wild growth. This is great from Delight. Stops LazyField from being able to pierce him.
I think he's just dead. I mean, Andil not here, and they just kind of run at him.
Yeah.
Cleanse used. Easy pickings for Guma.
Power of the Yunara at this point of the game with the Lulu backing, uses the cleanse as well to get out of the chains of corruption. No disengage able to happen there. Now should be able to pick up the plate. Maybe
Or
in a
two.
second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big influx of gold. Okay. Solid lead for HLE so far, and in the right places. Getting a lead on your AD carry on a pick like Yunara definitely feels good. Just moves forward, ult comes out, it's cleansed. Andal isn't there to back up. And it was a very quick passage of play. LazyField without flash, feeling a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, something that doesn't really get talked about a lot from Lulu is the glitter lance, but that slow is deadly, especially if you are a non-mobile carry who is very squishy and alone. So one glitter lance, and Guma immediately knows that, okay, this is at least a good trade, at best a kill, and it does pick it up very nicely. See that Zeka's definitely behind here in the mid lane. UCal will be able to pick up 2 plates so far. But he is Silas, and we'll see what kind of value he does get there. Rich doing better as this lane comes along.
Yeah, I mean, this is Cassante in a nutshell. You just fall a little bit behind and then become immortal. UCal, as you said, has that kill lead and a bit of a farm lead, but the only person with a gold lead on KRX right now. Second dragon is spawning up, and you can see KRX have moved to get control of the area, getting some wards in, and it's up to HLE to push in to contest this. Skullcrab's going to be up soon. And Willer feels like he's fishing for Zeka. Not the easiest target to get on top of.
Yeah, I mean, Konami comes on over, and Willer just throws some damage into him. And now they're actually going to go in onto Kanavi. Kind of difficult to do onto a Pantheon. Just throws up the shield and then flashes the wall. That's the Paranoia down.
Forces that summoner at least, but now doesn't have the ultimate of the Nocturne for a potential fight for the Dragon. Does seem like HLE will back away.
All right, the Canes are going to hit this time. No cleanse available. Guma going to get chunked, but at the end of the day, it's LazyField who goes down. And Wild Growth still available. Couple flashes are up for the HLE bottom lane. They're just making them look silly.
LazyField didn't have a complete
2,000
item.
kills for Guma.
Oh,
Congratulations.
pretty massive.
Meanwhile, we do have Zeus going down in the top lane.
I feel like this milestone snuck up on us.
Yeah. I guess there was a lot of focus on the home front, and, you know, they were talking about how popular Guma is in Vietnam, alongside a LazyField, obviously. But, yeah, big milestone for him.
Huge achievement. And really popping off so far this game. Stepped up to LazyField there, who didn't have a complete item, didn't have, I mean, even if he did, didn't really have the burst to cut through Kumiishi with that extra protection from the Lulu. They are looking for more for fight here, though.
I mean, they're going to burst down Konami, but I don't know if he really cares about that. UCal in a very precarious spot. He just dies, no flash at all. Willer also taken out. It feels like Hume just keep on playing to the snowballing of HLE's comp, and HLE say thank you very much.
They opt into that despite not having the Paranoia still available and the Dragon kind of just being gone. They try and stick around to make the fight happen, but it just felt like they weren't really coordinated. They didn't have the major ultimates they need, which represent a significant portion of power. You know, Varus, Aurora, Nocturne, like they've lost out on the Dragon already, and they're still trying to make the pit play be a thing. No Varus ult, no Aurora ult, no Nocturne ult. All it takes from HLE is see target, kill target.
Okay, now they're going for something in the bottom lane. The turret is down. Guma is as well, as now we have junglers on top of each other there on the top side of this fight. It looks like Willer should be able to take him down. Lazyfield getting pretty low himself, but it's only Delight left available here. One piercing arrow should get the job done, but Delight is going to flash away as Yukal says, no, 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 you are going down, and a nice turnaround here from Kyun.
Just when we're singing the praises of HLE, Kyun DRX strike back, and it's honestly just a bit of an overstep, over-aggression, Gumayusi not with enough HP to make the play happen, and then just more members. The Kanavi comes down to try and salvage the play. Gumayusi not having the mana, I think, is a big factor, and just walking up to the turret here, the burst damage available now that that Ghost Blade's completed ends up deleting the enemy to carry. And then here, Laserfield playing around the pocket of the lack of vision, the brush there, so he can't really be focused, and the cleanup on the end from Yukal is really solid with the ult. So you can see how things go much better when they have their ultimates available. I think that should be something they focus on.
You know, maybe they said, oh, Zeus in a bit of trouble here, and down he goes, solo killed by Rich. And Rich, he looks very comfy here on the Cassante, level 13 already. And, man, we'll have to see how that one kind of started up. Zeus is already quite low.
Having the Cassante be ahead, be a major threat. Oh.
All right, looking for Kanavi here. He doesn't have his flash. Paranoia available. Shield already down. Knockup comes in. They're going very deep for this one, though. Straight into 4 members of HLE. Zeka with the stolen ultimate here, and Andil eventually will be going down. Zeka with the chase potential is big. Gonna pick up the kill on the Lazyfield. And now it's just, does Andil die here, or does Zeus get him? Which that is going to happen. Zeus picks up the kill and is now worth some more gold.
I think we've seen this so many times.
Oh, what are we doing here? As Guma gonna go down, and just the action just does not stop here on the map. They were trying to get turret plates, and Yukal just kind of surprises them with the damage. He's 6-1 with, yeah, his items.
The double alternator.
Are you alternating if you have 2 of them?
Yes,
maybe they
alternating between them.
Yeah, go from one to the other.
This is a very Fed Aurora, which really helps with the thing I was talking about in draft, how Kyun DRX are very burst focused. If you're fed enough that you just one-shot everyone, that's fine, that you're burst focused. I feel like, oh, we just don't, I don't get a time to talk.
No, it's just action here, and even observing is caught off guard. Lazyfield survives actually for quite a long time, but eventually Guma presses his buttons. And that's going to be the nice follow-up there. TP comes in from Rich, but he is not going to help that all too much. But now the turn onto Kanavi. To pick up the kill does Willer.
Bot lane of Kyun DRX goes down. Jungler for HLE in return should be able to push this mid tier 1 pretty comfortably. And even though the game's been close, a lot of back and forth, it is HLE who are edging ahead in this one. Yeah, so hard to play the Varus against a Pantheon who can just ult down on you. Not a ton when you get flash stunned after the fact. Tries to move towards his team rather than the turret, and gets slid in on it and just sniped by Gumayusi there. Now Kanavi does overstep under the tower to get that kill on the Poppy. Ends up being a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
As a result of that.
Kanavi and overstepping, like 2 peas in a pod. And it is Mountain Soul, by the way. It does look like HLE are going to go ahead and pick up this first Mountain Drake, although we do have a big influx of Kyun TRX members that are moving down to the bottom side of the map, and that will be respected by HLE. Zeka doesn't quite have his TP. He's about to get it. So
yeah, they're waiting for that, I presume. Or they want to put up too much resistance, make sure that the Silas can get there.
And
they have midway pushed him pretty deep, so now Lazyfield has to respond to this. They push top as well. I think HLE did a really good job there, pushing those lanes deep after they moved off the dragon and not just opting into the fight immediately. Kyun DRX had to respect the pressure of the waves pushing in, pick those up, and as a result aren't really in a spot to contest the dragon. So Second for HLE. And obviously those extra resistances going to be pretty nice, I would say. When we're talking about burst thresholds being a major factor for KRX, the one-shot capabilities of both Varus and Aurora, adding extra resistance is always going to disrupt that and make it more difficult.
Yeah. We do have a lot of bruisers on the Rift and just generally tanky people. But really just Cassante is like the main tank. I guess Poppy kind of counts, but support, so not as many items.
They don't have money. They just buy as a locket.
They need to buy control wards.
What's crazy is that Delight has 1,000 gold lead over Andil, and he now has Ardent Sensor and McHills. Ardent Sensor syncs really well with the Inara, but having the McHills as well in this game feels phenomenal. Gumisi already has Cleanse, but if you have a second one, then the world's really your oyster.
Yeah, I mean, for Guma, for certain, it's going to feel good. But even for one of these frontliners, you know, if you want to unlock your Jax, but he gets like Varused or stunned by a Poppy or something like that, you know, maybe you can set them up for some success by throwing a McHale's into him. And just allowing them to continue on the play.
Flexibility of McHale's definitely a big value point.
You ever miss a cannon before?
Me, never.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, not once.
UCal did, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Very unfortunate.
You know, I think support players tend to miss less cannons because they were never expected to get them anyway.
Yeah. And Guma, I mean, he's really strong at this point. He's 2,400 or 600 gold ahead of Lazy Feel. There's a big level gap between our top laners. But, I mean, there's not really a good answer for Guma at this point. I mentioned in the draft, it's like, who are you going to Paranoia? You can follow up, you know, on an Aurora damage or on a Chains of Corruption, stuff like that, but it's still very difficult as they're going in onto the Jax, who is going to flash away. Zeus in a little bit of trouble. He's able to hop over the wall, though. And here comes Andil as well. They're really just trying to bully Zeus, and the damage from the Aurora just got a one-shot him on low health. Meanwhile, it does look like Zeka wants to continue this trade. Rich, high on levels, but not necessarily able to trade very well into Zeka, at least in the extended trade.
Let's see what they do with this Herald. I think they're going to try and maneuver it bot lane.
Right,
maybe.
Rich gets him under turret. Yeah, the charge comes in, but Rich, another solo kill. This guy is popping off in this game. And now he's got the angle on Aguma. The Wild Growth is there. And the damage is there as well for Guma, but look at this. KRX are coming back. Guma by his lonesome has to flash away. UCal comes in and just totally misses. But it's okay, because they do take down this very fed Unara, and eventually Delight should follow the support. As KRX are right back in this one.
Zeus chaining up a little bit too late. Actually, I say that. Lazy Feel.
Not like this.
Oh, no. There is Willa nearby. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
meanwhile, more action in this action game, and Lazy Feel gets paranoid by the Silas. And now UCal by his lonesome on the top side of the fight. Guma, though, as well, is going to be taken down, as he was very aggressively pushing there with the rest of his team. Zeka trying to continue on this one, has the Lulu behind them, and they don't really have any damage, this trio. I mean, the Cassante does, but now Andil in a bit of trouble. He's going to be chunked down here by Zeka. Now Zeus with the follow-up. Wild Growth for the engage. And Willer, he's trying to get away, but they're just diving the base. They don't care at all. Because eventually, Delight does go down, but now the real threats, the Bruisers, the three of them of HLE are continuing on the push.
Zeka on Silas, man, is something else. A pick he is very accomplished on, and just diving forward with reckless abandon, but just not even a chance for KRX to shut him down. we see here ends up being a pretty unfortunate position for Laserfield. Playing Varus into this doesn't feel great. Gets chunked out by the Inara and then just exploded. And we see Willa diving in, clearing up Kumayushi, so both 80 carries are dead. But it's still a numbers advantage for HLE who pick up Yukal. And then we get this like really extended, drawn-out play. But just notice that like without their 2 carries, they can never kill Zeka. He just heals too much, and they just don't have the sustained damage.
Yeah, he's basically able to do whatever he wants. And speaking of which, we're just diving the turrets. Lots of damage here from Willer and Yukal, but now they're pretty deep. They do take out the turret. But Rich trying to back off here. It's still a lot of damage. I mean, Zeka's trying to get on in there with that ultimate, but he's just able to dash away. They can't lock him down. And they can't do much to him at all. Zeka is a raid boss with a wild growth, dashes in the floor, and just wipes the floor with them. Triple kill for Zeka and Life Esports. They even got Zeus in the top lane pushing. Maybe even Yukal dies here just
I think he will.
Konami, okay? Well, that might just be the end of it. I mean, it's a clean ace, and they will look for the end.
It was a close back and forth game, but Zeka just locks in and says, you know what? I'm done with this.
I am that guy.
I am him. Closes out the game, closes out the series 2-1. The week after 21 games, and the crowd erupts for HLE.
Tons of Life Esports fans in Vietnam, as you guys can probably tell. And man, big win here in game number 3. Definitely a bit of a stumble in game 1, kind of caught by surprise. But KRX went for an interesting draft. Didn't work out, but they come back immediately in games number 2 and number 3. And the fans are loving it here in Vietnam. They look so comfy up there on that stage. Life Esports will continue, by the way, their winning streak, 10 in a row at the LCK in series, as they do finish up here at the home front at 11-1. And Ox is trying to write a checkbox into the Palm selection paper.
I'm deliberating. This is a heavy, you wouldn't know. You don't get a vote, you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
it's a heavy decision.
I wouldn't understand.
No, you really wouldn't.
Yeah. You see that is going to earn some big cheers, as it feels like he is loving it. All of that attention from the fans.
Yep, a player who has obviously played on a lot of big stages, and putting on a great performance today. I think we got our money's worth with the series. You know, I will say the drafts were a little bit one-sided in the first 2 games, but that game 3 was hype. A hype slugfest between these 2 teams, and KRX stepping up to be able to match the first place team in the LCK and making it an exciting series.
Yeah, definitely some fun stuff tonight here in Vietnam. Very enjoyable. Love these home fronts, the home stands, the home grounds, whatever you want to call them, as you know, you just get all these fans into one gigantic arena, especially abroad as well, which is really cool to see the love for the LCK being shown outside of Korea. I mean, I said it before, we saw it in Hong Kong for the LCK Cup Finals. Now we see it in Hanoi. And here's to more in the future, hopefully, as the fans are so passionate here as well. Awesome to see.
It looks like they've been having a great time. You know, I think enjoying the opportunity to watch the LCK in person. This was just a very HLE game. It was chaotic. There was a lot of fighting. And a lot of aggression. I think Rich had some great moments this game. Unfortunately, not enough for them to get the win. But it looks like we will see both of his solo kills.
Yeah. I mean, this was a big moment. I feel like KRX got back in the game at this point, but
yeah,
couldn't stick the landing after this play.
Just felt like the pressure built up and it hit tipping point.
Gumo is just so strong. You can see he goes pretty deep on this play, but he chunked out Lazy Field before the Paranoia.
Yeah.
He's kind of in an awkward spot, but he just knows that, you know, he did enough damage. He did his job. The bruisers are there to clean up.
내가 밀어내볼게.
오로라 뒤에 있다.
오라 뒤에 이거 빼빼.
미드. 나 그냥 3밀게.
네, 빨렸다.
천천히 보자. 싸우자.
천천히 보자.
Just saying go for the fight.
가도 돼.
나 3밀 줘, 그냥.
나
뭐 안 해도 되긴 해.
나 안 좋아.
3밀게. 진짜 할만 돼, 이거? 싸움 너무.
가져.
사태. 나 준비했어.
나 죽었다. 보자. 가왔어요.
Zeka is just crazy here.
Yeah.
탁가면 끝나.
Zeus in the middle of the team fight, he's like, I'm gonna push top. I'm gonna push top, guys.
들어가면 끝나겠다.
As they're all screaming about what to do in the team fight. It's gonna be easy with the big numbers. I mean, 1,000 DPM. Some good stuff there. The Yunara Lulu picked as the 1-2 from second pick for HLE.
It's only a 25-minute game. It felt longer. It was so action-packed. And it is going to be Zeka with the POM. Ari game, I think there was no real mistakes in that one, but I don't think it was the most impactful. But this Silas game, he completely took over. Second now in POM standings, only behind Chovy. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I think of real champions that are a treat to watch Zeka play, it's Akali and Silas.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're done here on the cast. Let's throw it over to Deer for the translation in Vietnam.
Các bạn khán giả thân mến, như vậy là sau 3 ván đấu căng thẳng thì HLE Sport đã có cuộc lội ngược dòng và giành thắng lợi với tỷ số 2-1. Và giờ đây chúng tôi sẽ được đến với phần phỏng vấn sau trận đấu với tuyển thủ đạt được danh hiệu người chơi xuất sắc nhất ở trận đấu vừa rồi. Đầu tiên thì bạn có thể giới thiệu bản thân mình và gửi lời chào tới các bạn khán giả được không ạ?
최강 선수 안녕하세요. 먼저 자기소개라고 인사 한마디 부탁드립니다.
다시
자기소개하고 인사
네.
한마디 부탁드립니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 하나생명 e스포츠에서 미드를 맡고 있는 제카라고 합니다. 감사합니다.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, tôi là người đi chơi đường giữa của HLE Esports JK.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Deer for the POM interview translation, joined by Zeka on the side of Hana Life Esports. I'm Zeka, the mid laner of Hana Life Esports.
Hải đội là HLE Esports và cả Q1 DX đến thi đấu tại Việt Nam. HLE Esports 팀이 베트남에 오신 환영하기 위해서
To welcome Hana Life Esports in Vietnam, so many Vietnamese fans prepared photos and banners and LED signs everywhere at the KRX home front.
열심히 환영 프로젝트를 준비하셨습니다. 혹시 보셨나요? 혹시 보셨다면 어떤 마음인지 궁금합니다.
Did you see them all? How do you feel? You know, everyone was welcoming us from the airport, and on our way to our hotel and accommodation, you know, we saw all the signs and the banners and the posters, and I felt like we were just so looking forward to the home front since then.
Và tôi thật sự cảm động trước cái tấm lòng của các bạn và xin cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều.
Cảm ơn chia sẻ của tuyển thủ, và chúng tôi cũng muốn gửi lời cảm ơn đến cả hai đội đã cống hiến cho chúng ta một cặp BO3 vô cùng đặc sắc. Vậy thì khi mà có được chiến thắng chung cuộc ở trong cặp đấu này, tuyển thủ cảm thấy như thế nào?
오늘 승리하고 POM 같이 받게 되셨는데
Well, you secured an amazing victory today and a POM, so how do you feel? We came all the way to Vietnam to play on stage, and that's the first time that we get to have this kind of experience. And just having all the fans support us and, you know, send us so much energy, it just feels so amazing. And on top of that, it's cherry on top that I was able to get a POM.
và tôi lại còn nhận được POM nữa nên tôi cảm thấy rất là tuyệt vời ạ.
Tiếp theo là câu hỏi về lựa chọn của các bạn ở trong game đấu đầu tiên, đó là Tristana đường trên. Vậy thì sau ván đấu đó các bạn đã có những cái đánh giá như thế nào về cái lựa chọn này ạ?
1세트에서 트타라는 선택을 하셨는데
In game 1, you picked Tristana in the top side. So
지기는 했는데 이제
can you walk us through this pick?
해줄 역할은 다
Yeah,
해준 것 같고
we actually
지혁
lost
선수가
that
트타를
game,
잘한다고
but
생각해서
Zeus actually was able to carry out his role as a Tristana, and he's actually really good at and proficient at playing Tristana, so that's why we went with that pick.
Tuy nhiên ở ngày hôm nay thì đối thủ của chúng tôi đã có mặt mày trình diễn tốt hơn ở ván 1 cho nên là họ đã giành chiến thắng.
Vậy thì câu hỏi tiếp theo sẽ là dành cho bạn và vị tướng của bạn. Bạn đánh giá như thế nào về màn trình diễn cá nhân của mình với lựa chọn tủ Sylas ở trong ván đấu quyết định ạ?
3세트에서 사일러스 선택하셨는데
And in game 3, you picked Silas. So how would you rate yourself on how you performed with Silas today? You know, I made a single mistake. So if I take that aside, I feel like I would give myself a 9 out of 10.
Vậy thì trước khi mà chúng ta kết thúc phần phỏng vấn ở đây thì tuyển thủ ZK có lời nào muốn gửi đến các bạn khán giả ở Việt Nam hay không ạ?
네, 인터뷰를 마무리 전에 혹시 베트남 팬분들께
And as we close out the interview, anything you'd like to say to the Vietnamese fans?
초청해주신 이제 KRX 구단에도 너무 감사드리고.
You know, I would like to send my gratitude to KRX for the invitation for this amazing stage. And I'm just really grateful that everyone was here just sending us really good energy and watching over us and all the reactions. And even those who are watching in Korea, all the fans over there, thank you as well. I feel like I made such great memories and I'm really grateful for everything.
Chúng tôi rất là mong là các bạn sẽ tiếp tục ủng hộ cho đội tuyển và tôi cảm thấy rất là nhẹ nhõm khi các bạn đã có một khoảng thời gian thật là đẹp trong ngày hôm nay. Xin cảm ơn các bạn.
Xin cảm ơn tuyển thủ ZK đã tham gia vào phỏng vấn này cùng với chúng tôi. Một lần nữa xin chúc mừng cho chức POM của tuyển thủ ZK và chúc mừng
Congratulations once again for that win, Hana Life Esports, and that's all from Zeka. And back to the space. Thank you.
Trận đấu vừa rồi đánh dấu